what's up, party people? Happy Monday. Welcome to the opposite of an action-packed week on SJU. We've got a plate full of scraps for you today. But
broccoli.
Yeah, a little broccoli, a little runoff, the stuff that's left on your plate after the sizzler. After the sizzler is finished, but we're gonna make a meal of it because that's what we always do. We've got an actually interesting lawsuit against HBO Max. Everybody is pissed about the streaming co-release, and now it's the Matrix's turn. Maybe they'll get that ScarJo payout. We also have more details about the 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover that never was. But I don't care about that because I loved Men in Black International. Wow, what a film that I remember. Some casting news in the Spider-Verse, and then we got to check in a little preview because we don't have the full story yet, but a little preview on our near and dear friend Movie Pass, allegedly back from the dead in a hilariously low-cost auction that we'll discuss, and we'll do lots of fan questions and comments because I'm sure we'll have time after that. So keep those coming in the chat. But we begin with Eric and Danielle. Hello, how's it going?
Hello. Just wondering if there's such thing as a budget zombie.
A budget zombie? Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, Kirkland brand.
Yeah, Kirkland brand zombie. So the WB, they're making a lot of frenemies these days by doing this whole simultaneous home and theater release thing. Matrix Resurrections, a film that completely bombed, unfortunately. I don't think it deserved to bomb as hard as it did. It was good, but not great. Village Roadshow, the company, is suing them, alleging that their move to release the film simultaneously on HBO Max and in theaters was a breach of contract. So this is, once again, you may remember this type of lawsuit happening with Scarlett Johansson and Disney, because I know that her contract was tied up with performance metrics and stuff that she alleges that the streaming release hurt. But this is another one in the same vein. What do we think? Eric, I know you've read into this more than I have. What do you think the fallout is going to be for this? Or is this going to be another quick settlement like we did with Scarlett and the Big D?
I mean, I think it'll be settled almost certainly because that's just what happens with these giant lawsuits. The studios want to go away. I do think, unlike ScarJo, where you kind of, even the moment it happened, I'm like, she's gonna still make movies at Disney, guys. That's just that with the talent. That's kind of how it goes. Like even with these big lawsuits, they kiss and make up publicly. There's a big payout behind the scenes, and then they keep making movies together. I do wonder for the partnership with Village Roadshow if this could actually affect things and maybe end. This goes back decades, by the way. Like if you look at what Village Roadshow has made with Warner Brothers, it includes like the Ocean's 11 movies and Joker and all the Matrix movies. So this could be sort of the straw that broke the camel's back as far as like just this very lucrative partnership, and maybe like Christopher Nolan, they actually say we're going somewhere else now.
Well, formerly lucrative, because I mean, obviously, while those are big hits, Warner Brothers has more in the stable than Village Roadshow.
Well, yeah.
Like, if you lose the Matrix, then you've lost, a third of your big IPs. And Danielle, do you think this is mostly a simultaneous streaming casualty? Or did Spider-Man kill Neo?
Nah, it's 100% a streaming casualty. Like I've been saying it. I do 100. I honestly think in any other year, would the 3 Spider-Men have ruined this movie? Nah. Do I think it still would have probably done a little bit better? Yeah, I do. Like in theaters, but also, we're not doing theaters right now, and people are being very choosy. And I know that and this is anecdotal evidence. I don't have, I haven't crunched the numbers. This isn't like a Getty poll, but from people I've spoken to, they've said, especially in that period where, there was another big surge of the Omarion and all that stuff was happening, that people decided, if there is a decision to go out of the house and watch this, or I can stay in the house and watch this, they're going to stay in the house and watch it. Literally everyone I know made that decision. Well, I don't want to say literally. I'm sure that there's someone I know from high school that was yeah, I'm going to go to the theater.
Granted, yeah, you have to kind of cross-reference this with what Omarion was doing at the time, but there have been
the Optimus Prime was keeping us. It was bad. It was not good. It was not
there
good.
Have been films that people, even Warner Brothers simultaneous release films, where people left the house to go see them. But I do agree that it tampers down the demand to see films in theaters to the point where you're either seeing Matrix or Spider-Man and not both. And this probably was like, well, I'll go out and see Spider-Man and then I'll watch Matrix at home. Right, Eric?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, look, it would have made more, it would have made more money if it was in theaters only. But yeah, when you have such a crazy situation of like this scary time happening with COVID in December and this surge, and even though Spider-Man isn't making so much money, but it was people saying, if I'm going to take a calculated risk right now, it's got to be on Spider-Man. That's my one. So it did hurt Matrix. Like Matrix would have made more. But yeah, I do think that it never was going to be a giant hit. I think that we, because if people really, really, really wanted to see Matrix, even the numbers on HBO Max weren't like amazing numbers from everything we've heard, even though that's all, always under lock and key to an extent. But yeah, so it's a little bit of a combo. Like, yeah, they could have made more money. They still never were going to be like the winner of December, I think, given the, both the health issues and the Spider-Man of it all.
But does HBO even care?
Right.
They've been, so they get sued and they break them off a check. I think The Matrix is probably something that's done its job in that it got people to either sign up for HBO Max or continue their subscription, not cancel their subscription for another month. And sadly, like that's all The Matrix has to offer them at this point. Like, I'm sure they would have been happy if this spawned another trilogy and was an enormous hit, but their expectations were probably like it's like a test balloon. Like, let's float out another Matrix movie, see if people are excited to see them again. No, well, we still got their subscription, right?
And I'll be perfectly honest, like as far as seeing, I mean, obviously like there's like internet chatter and all that stuff, but I do try to like peruse the ads and stuff. I don't feel like there was like a huge Matrix push. Did you feel that, Eric?
I mean, I felt it was well promoted, but I
also but it wasn't like this like full steam ahead, like like we see with a lot of these like big movies,
I did think so at the beginning, they made this announcement at the beginning of the last year that they were going to put every movie for 2021 on HBO Max immediately, and they didn't tell anyone. I mean, it's still crazy that they didn't tell anyone. They didn't tell any actors or directors or all their producing partners. So there was huge blowback, and we heard about all these actors who got crazy payouts. I mean, again, it's still funny that they all got paid. Like Hugh Jackman got paid for Reminiscence as if it was the biggest hit in the world because they all. They basically had to make do with all these people. But we always heard that two big problems for them when they did this were going to be Dune and Matrix because they had huge partners on them with Legendary on Dune and Village Roadshow. It wasn't just their baby. And there was even the question of maybe those two would be theaters only. Right. And it ended up not happening. But yeah, I do think that in the long run, they're happy because HBO Max did get a lot more subscribers. They won't do this again. They won't do the surprise, we're moving your movie to streaming again. Because it did have effect. Like Nolan leaving is still a big deal, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a huge deal. Well, yeah, so that makes like complete sense. Because I was thinking about that as well as there was a huge hubbub when that initially happened, because there were so many creators who were like, you don't get to, it feels like the equivalent of you being on Facebook and saying single and you haven't broken up with a girl yet. And it's like you gotta tell the girl before.
Yeah, I did that back in the MySpace days before we all knew the rules.
See, you can't do that. You have to tell the girl first before you change your relationship status. You'd have the talk, and Warner's like they didn't have the talk, and so a lot of people obviously were. I think you have to disclose these things to the people that you work with, personal opinion, and also like sounds like a legal opinion. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but it definitely, I was also curious about how this was going to work with these last two properties. And with Dune, it was one of those ones where I was like, we'll see, because we were kind of in like a different place then. But with Matrix, I was like, oh yeah, they suing. Oh, they suing. How you not suing?
Yeah, but it's like, do you think that the lawsuit is really just like, if Matrix was a hit, they never would have sued.
No.
This is just like we didn't make as much money as we thought we would. I'm suing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, because it's funny. There's some other dirty laundry came out in the middle of this. I just threw this into the script while we're talking, but it's like they also threw out some interesting thing about like, and Warner Brothers wanted to make an Edge of Tomorrow TV show, and they wanted to take away our rights of that. So it's like it sounds like they had little brother syndrome for a while, Village Roadshow, but they would have they would have kept quiet like Hollywood does if Matrix had been a huge hit. It wasn't, so they're like, hey, we've been mad at you for a long time about a bunch of stuff.
See, and again, this is like during a breakup when all of the stuff from the past is like, why you keep bringing up old stuff? And it's like, well, this is why, you know?
Yeah, the burn book is now going to be public, but not too public.
And another thing they did at Warner Brothers. Just like
not too public because, like you said, this all gets solved by turning the fire hose of money at Village Roadshow until they stop talking. So that's Hollywood, baby. Yeah. But if any other tidbits fly out, we will be the first to report because we love drama.
Can I say just
we are messy bitches who live for drama. It is true.
Yes, right.
It does feel like it'll be one of these lawsuits eventually that are going to make streaming numbers have to kind of start to put their money where their mouth is legally, which would then, I think, eventually, even if not at first, be released to the public and maybe start some type of wave of some better understanding of numbers. Because eventually this is all really about a lot of this is about negotiating for the next movie. Like, hey, will we get a cut of those subs?
Sure.
Like a lot of this is about how it resets the market versus even really how much money we get for this one.
Right.
I totally agree with you. I do think though that the methodology isn't going to be through the courts because I don't think you can force them to reveal that. I think it's going to be more of like a labor dispute and SAG and the DGA and the guilds are like, we won't work with you unless
Producers Guild especially
let us see this stuff.
Right. All contracts, of course, are going to now put every factor in about if this happens, and how that changes financially. So is Warner Brothers, I think ultimately they're happy they did this. They did the nuclear option, right? And it got them a lot of subscribers, but it was a one-time thing, the surprise thing.
And we're going to need an actual trusted third party because we're not the talent won't trust the studio's own numbers. We're going to need is it PricewaterhouseCoopers? Who effed up the Oscars? I don't want to slander anyone, but the good version of whoever holds the briefcase with the actual winner in it.
Remember the poor guy? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to say poor guy because it sounds like maybe he screwed up. The guy that they said was the one who was taking pictures of celebrities,
doing selfies,
and was probably the one that screwed up with the envelopes because he was too I'm with the
and
people.
Yet a top 5 Oscars moment for me as someone who was drinking the La La Land Haterade. It was great. great day. Okay, so we move on. We have other little bits of news that are just as delicious and delightful, and while I scroll down, you click like and subscribe and the little bell so you never miss another thing. Lord and Miller, always a fan of theirs. I'm actually really enjoying I can't remember their streaming services. Is it Apple TV Plus that has that really fun mystery show that they're doing a different genre every episode. It's very cool. I wish I remembered the name. I've seen 2 episodes.
The After Party.
It's very good. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Too much TV. But they were on a podcast, Happy, Sad, Confused, hosted by Josh Horowitz, and they talked about the oft-rumored, all but confirmed, but did fall apart version.
Didn't we know this because of the Sony leak? I think this is how we knew this was even a thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The good version of a Men in Black sequel, which was a crossover with 21 Jump Street. There was an actual script that existed that he says was very funny and very crazy that we really adored. The idea was that Jonah and Channing, a thing happened while they were doing their medical school adventure that got them embroiled in the world of Men in Black, and that got them teaming up to stop an alien takeover type of thing. I mean, this has to be one of the all-time great not all-time great films, it never was, but certainly
it's up there.
the best film expectation versus reality situation between 21 Men in Black versus Men in Black International, which was my God, what a room temperature glass of water that movie was.
Take the most charming people in the world and find a way to not make them funny.
Amazing. Right?
Well, I find that actually is very easy for hot people to not be funny, and this movie proved it.
but we've seen the same hot people be funny in another movie.
That's
together.
true. That's true. Yeah, they need support though. They need a lot of There's only one Will Smith, and there's
only one Taika Waititi.
There's only one Taika.
Oh, the Antica. Yeah.
And I did like that Will Smith continued his streak of only appearing in legacy sequels via oil painting of his old characters, as he did in International and Resurgence. There's like they made an oil painting of a framed still from those movies. So he was in it technically.
Well, that's actually like that is his portrait where he puts them in movies and then the portrait ages and then Will Smith stays the same age.
That's a good point. So this is like I don't know what the discussion is, except to can say that this would have been really good and we didn't get it, right?
I asked to put this in basically just so we could have 2 seconds to say, wouldn't this been great?
Yeah.
It's I remember when the hack happened and so much was coming. We were talking about juicy gossip. There was a lot coming out during that hack, but in the middle of this was like, and Jonah Hill's emailing about some Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover. I was like, what? That sounds amazing. And again, Lord and Miller, who, it's like they have that magic touch. Even making 21 Jump Street as good as it was, which it had no right being. So this will be, to me, one of those could have been moments.
Yeah, and to go from like riffing on reboots to riffing on sequels to riffing on like crossovers, it just is just right in their wheelhouse. It's such a dumb move. I wonder why did this fall apart? Was that in the hack?
Who knows? I mean, it could have even. I'm just wildly speculating here. Maybe it was legal stuff. Marvel technically owns Men in Black at this point as a comic book property because they bought Malibu Comics. So who knows, like how, even though Sony has the movie rights, it's just like, what were the intricacies there to actually make a crossover over 2 properties Sony didn't originate? Maybe, I don't know if they made the TV show of 21 Jump Street, but it sounds like it might have been a legal hassle and who knows, but I'm sad. We never got it.
Well, Danielle, pour out your ginger ale for the 21 Men in Black that we never got to see.
I'm sick, but I'll do one of these. Hold on, here's you knock it on the table so you don't waste the liquor. That's how we do it back home.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to another legacy sequel, Dakota Johnson.
Her generation legacy sequel.
We got some casting news. She is going to play Madam Web in a new Spider-Man spinoff for Sony. I don't know if this is a Madam Web movie or if she's going to appear as a madam in some type of larger Spider-Man project.
It's a movie, but
I think she was underrated. She's an underrated actress because of how horrible the 50 Shades of Grey movies were. But I think in the first one, she shows some charm, and when she cared, she could do something interesting.
I think it's hard when you also allegedly, according to rumors, do not like your co-star. And your whole thing.
That's what the money's for.
That's what the money is for.
Dude, acting, you have to pretend. That said, I don't care about this project. Eric, tell me why I should.
I mean, the only reason I care, I'm a longtime Spider-Man fan, and I know who Madam Web is. Again, traditionally, she's an old woman in a chair.
Yo, they love hotting up these old ladies.
And then the comic book did hot her up. They made a new version that was the young, hot Madam Web. But the only reason I really care about this, because again, it's like Sony, they're trying to milk everything they can of the Spider-Man property. And no one's asking for a Madam Web movie. But Dakota Johnson is just because I like her as an actress, but also people like to talk about her chaotic energy on Twitter, which she does have. And so there is something about her playing a superhero that's like it's like, oh, that's weird. So if they make the movie weird around her, that might be fun. That's what we can hope for. The fact that Sony's doing these strange things, and I'm not a big fan of the Venom movies. But they certainly have embraced quirky.
But the team behind it is they've got S.J. Clarkson, who made
big TV
director behind the Marvel Netflix stuff, Defenders and Jessica Jones, and the writer of Morbius, Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless.
Maybe Morbius is going to surprise the hell out of it.
Yeah, I guess a lot of this is going to ride on if we like the tone and script for Morbius, which okay.
I have theories. I'm not going to speculate out loud. I feel like maybe it's one of those like, hey, you did us a real solid. Here's something that maybe.
Yeah.
The movie's not out yet. I can't judge.
We can't. We won't. We can't. But we do.
Just to clarify, because the chat seemed a little confused too. I mean, yes, the character Madam Web was typically this old lady, but we assume that she's playing Jessica Carpenter, I believe is the name.
Julia Carpenter.
Julia. So yes, we were just talking about the typical comic book character, but we assume Dakota Johnson's not,
So she's not even Madam Web in the Madam Web movie.
In the comic books, Julia Carpenter was the second Spider-Woman who was
Yes.
introduced in Secret Wars, but then they had the original Spider-Woman come back. So then they made Julia Carpenter the new Madam Web, and she was now a younger incarnation of that character. It's very
Gotcha.
simple.
Marvel.fandom.com.
Marvel.fandom.com. Yeah. So she went from being this like, I live in this like this weird totem universe where spiders and dudes and rhinos and all of your people are actually totems. I don't know. It got real mystical for like no good reason, but it's actually kind of fun because I do like that run.
All right. Well, I'm excited for them to take all the fun out and make it real.
Yeah, look up Julia Carpenter on marvel.fandom.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
deep dive on her.
I will do that right after we discuss Movie Pass. Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on to Movie Pass 2.0. It's back, baby.
Unlike Movie Pass, we can move on.
Yeah. I just can't seem to quit you, Movie Pass. So a co-founder, I was doing a little bit of reading about this, co-founder Stacy Spikes, who started the company like way earlier than I realized that it was around, like 2011 or something like that. We've had Movie Pass in our lives and not even known it. He was fired from the company he started, and we kind of know the rest of the deal from there. Chloe, director of marketing, scam, fail, bankrupt. And Stacy, though, is back. He's got a great like comic book name, Stacy Spikes. That's like
I love alliteration.
Yeah.
I love alliteration.
So, but we'll see, because he there's an event coming, 2.0. You can see kind of in the small text there online, February 10th, which is later this week. So we'll have probably a recap next week for you. But in reading about this, Stacy rescued the company from bankruptcy. MoviePass went up for auction in bankruptcy court, and they were asking for a minimum of $250,000, and nobody bid. And Stacy Spikes put down $140,000, which is a lot of money for a car or like a condo or something like that. But he bought MoviePass. We could have crowdfunded this and taken over MoviePass.
Yeah.
This is a huge missed opportunity for us.
Yeah.
Come on, fandom.
Look, if they got to make a Veronica Mars movie, we should get to buy MoviePass.
140K is like an episode of Veronica Mars, like not even. That
Can
is
you imagine
insane.
if we partnered with Dan and Dan was an owner in MoviePass?
Yes, we could have, like, between Dan's Patreon and like if we did a crowdfunding drive and like we'll get Elijah Wood to show up and do a movie fight. That's 140K. Boom, done. We're the new owners of MoviePass.
We got to start paying attention to which of our enemies is up for sale.
I know, right?
we need to like start getting on it.
Do you get gaudy with this?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
that's the thing is that. So what could this 2.0 business be aside from another scam? Well, and I'm gonna go first. It's an NFT, right? Like it's like an NFT of a ticket stub of a movie you saw. What do we think on February 10th they're gonna reveal?
I think that Chloe, the director of marketing, comes out and is like, bark. We're so sorry that we've been gone for so long, but our tail is a wagging to get your tongues a wagging about what we have in store. Bark. And then we never
You think it's going to be a
again.
double tease? Okay. Like,
yeah, I think it's going to be another
okay.
tease where it's like, we've got something great coming, just like hang out. And then like, we never hear from anything again. Like my thought is like, that is the moment where, so my idea is that the servers for MoviePass are located inside a volcano on an island, the way that all supervillains are.
Okay.
Yeah, the way that all Bond villains are. And so at that point, I mean, it's got to be Dan, right? Goes up in a boat, blows up the headquarters, and then like comes back. But there's like him and Mara like chilling in a boat. And like,
well, I was gonna say Stacy Spikes kind of sounds like a Bond girl name too.
like,
Maybe we get Scoops McGee to do it, and then Dan doesn't have to be there.
His greatest scoop, yeah.
that's my idea. That's what I think happens. I think that's the
All right,
thing.
you just think it's just a con all the way down.
Oh,
there will be no product or anything real announced.
It's so funny because I just found my card, and that is the only thing that I think that MoviePass has ever given me was the card. So I think if it's an NFT, it's just an NFT of the card with your name on it. It's like, now you own this. And I'm like, what? I have Okay.
No, you
My
own digital proof of a receipt that you paid for this at one point.
My biggest concern is like, just don't do that thing where you start auto charging us again. Just like,
Yeah, that's the announcement. We're restarting your billing.
yeah, that's the announcement.
Eric, do
I
you think
spent
there's
150 grand on this.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything real here that we're gonna hear about?
They'll try. The thing is, of course, is that, like the effect of MoviePass was it did get most of the major chains to start their own subscription service. I'm an AMC Stubs member and I enjoy it. So that's the problem, right? Is if MoviePass did come back, could they get any of the major chains on board when the chains are now doing it themselves? Probably not. And if they did, it wouldn't feel nearly as good as the old MoviePass. Look, when MoviePass worked for like that 1 year, it was great and I used the hell out of it. So that's the thing, is like, could they get like, maybe they try to get like indie movie theaters on board? But I just think, yeah, they'll announce something, and maybe, I don't know, but how many partners can they announce with? That's my question. Like the amazing version, it would be if they announce this, they're like, and yeah, Regal, AMC, they're all on board, but that's probably not happening. They'll say we're back and we're waiting for some great partnerships we can't announce just yet. And what you're saying, Danielle, like it doesn't come to fruition. Like they might make, get a couple little indie things happening, but I just can't see them. Or if they do come back, people are just like, that's not worth the money, because now I'm being asked to spend way more money, not enough movies compared. You used to give me, again, the reason this was a terrible idea for a company was you were giving away, was it $10 a month for a movie every day, right?
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah. And so it was like, yeah, that's not sustainable.
Yeah, they were assuming it would be like a gym membership where like you'd subscribe and then never use it. But if you use it like twice, they're losing money. So.
And there were enough people like me that were using it like 15 times. So it's like, so that's the problem, is like, it just won't feel like what people remember about the brief memory of good MoviePass. So that's why it's probably, I don't know if it's quite like a intentional scam, but I think it's a chutzpah, like, yeah, we're gonna get it back up on its feet, and you just probably can't anymore.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
What if they buy Blockbuster?
Is there only like one left in like Alaska or something like that?
Yeah, and that's the one they own.
That's the one they got.
Oregon.
That would be nice.
And is it Netflix? Like, there's that documentary, The Last Blockbuster, about it. And now Netflix is like a screwed up thing where Netflix, of all people, I think, is doing like either a scripted series set there or something.
Well, because didn't they do the documentary?
They didn't do it, but I think it ended up airing.
Yeah.
I think it ended up just being distributed by them.
That's just gloating. That's just spiking the ball.
Let's get to the fan questions, because I'm now hungry, because MoviePass reminded me of the Taco Bell taco subscription, and now I just want to eat tacos. So we're just gonna move.
I'm just saying, Randall Park is starring in the series. I'm not imagining about the last Blockbuster video.
It's a real thing.
A Netflix series. Yep, there you go.
Wow. Okay. So hungry. Hour asks, with the Oscar nominations tomorrow, what movie or performance should get Academy recognition but most likely won't? I didn't realize that was coming out tomorrow.
I didn't either.
That's why we got the Razzie nominations today, because those jerks with their Ben Affleck.
That was a great performance. How dare they?
Yeah.
I love that. But let's see. I'm going to bring up my what movies have I watched lately list. I loved. I'm gonna honk the horn all season long for Riders of Justice, and Mads Mikkelsen should definitely be recognized for his performance. / that film should win Best Picture. Granted, I haven't seen everything, but that's my leader so far. I'm really excited to see Red Rocket tonight. It comes out on streaming tonight, and I hear Simon Rex, aka Dirt Nasty, is amazing in it. So I'm penciling that in, but I'll wait till I actually see the film. Also, Nick Cage is probably not going to get a nomination for Pig, but he should.
Yeah.
I think that Zola definitely deserves to be in the conversation. I don't think it will be, but I definitely like Riley Keough nailed it.
Or directing for whoever directed it.
Yeah, cousin Greg nailed it. I can't remember the name of the
Woman Domingo is so good in that.
So like everyone, like and again, I have to look it up. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but this is off the top of my head, and my head is fuzzy. But everyone down. All the performances are great. The directing is amazing. It looks so good. Zola is one that I hope gets some props, and I feel like it won't. My other one, I'm hoping that Mitchell's versus the Machines gets like an animated nod. I don't know how that works now.
I think it'll get a nomination.
Because it was one of my favorites. But Zola is the one where I'm like, this should get a bunch of stuff.
Right.
It's probably
it came
not
out too
going
early
to.
in the year for like Oscar
Yep.
buzz. So you're right. That has snub all over it. Eric, did you have any?
Yeah, I answered this question the other day on Twitter, so it's fresh in my mind. Performance-wise specifically, because Licorice Pizza is going to get several nominations probably, but Alana Haim probably won't. And I just thought she was so good, and I thought, so if I could dream journal the nominations, she would get nominated. And she's been talked about, but I don't think enough to get an actual nomination for a performance. The one that I know has no chance in hell, though, unlike her, but I still just think in my imaginary world where horror movies got more attention and this movie got more attention in general, is Rebecca Hall in The Night House, which is like a super underseen movie, and is a horror movie, so it's got two big things against it. But Rebecca Hall, who I know was just in another movie she's getting nomination talk about a year out, that was just at virtual Sundance or one of those virtual ones. But in The Night House, she's so fantastic. And when I saw the movie, I went, "Oh, this is an Oscar-worthy performance that will not get an Oscar nomination." So it won't, but I'm throwing it out there.
Nice. All right, this is a good thematic one for the film that came out this weekend. Jim one asks, did you ever attempt any Jackass style stunts when you were younger? I mean, stunts, I don't know. I definitely like built jumps. Like, I think that's a very like kid thing to do, is to just build a jump for like your biking. If there's snow, you like launch yourself off a sled on some snow. I definitely like did that, but I think like the closest I came was like, no, I'm not going to talk about that one. You guys go first.
No, statute of limitations. Don't break the statute of limitations.
Definitely like poop pranks on other junior high schoolers.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm sure that I did. There was no way that I didn't. But I feel like I've always had this innate understanding that I am supremely breakable, which proved to be true. So I can't think of anything that Jackass style, because I've never like, nothing's gone up a butt. Nothing's like no machines that like slap me in the face or anything like that. No, not really. There's gotta be, God, no. Drugs? Is drugs a Jackass thing?
I think that's like the background radiation of a Jackass.
Okay. Yeah. I did Jackass stuff
for this last one. I think the whole set had to
I know that elevates it.
That, yeah.
That's what makes it a
Gotta
legacy.
stay locked in.
Yeah, I was an indoor kid. I don't have any good Jackass. The only thing I'll say is that I do. This is just a all-purpose answer. Was I was recently thinking about how when you feel like totally indestructible when you're like 5 or 6, and just thinking about when I was on field trips with my classmates, and we'd be at a museum that had this big incline hill next to it, and just being like, let's just jump down the hill and roll down it. And like, if I look at that same place now, being like, oh, I'm just thinking, I don't think I'd break. But
no, this reminds me of an unintentional Jackass style stunt that I did in college when remember Sparks?
Goddamn right, I remember Sparks.
This is
not
like
the band that Edgar Wright loves.
No, this is the precursor to Four Loko. This was like the first caffeinated malt liquor.
Oh, I kind of remember this.
That was the era, and
it hurts.
I had a lot of Sparks, and there were a lot of hills, and I skated down one of the largest ones on campus. It was in the Bay Area, and I had Sparks in my hand, skating down a hill that was way too big to be skated down, completely alone at night. And I realized about halfway down, I'm going to crash. I'm probably going to die. But I think that like the combination of heightened awareness that the caffeine was giving me and the muscle relaxant of all the alcohol allowed me to do a perfect hold the can of Sparks and just like shoulder roll off of the skateboard.
Gorgeous.
Do an intentional hill roll. And I ended up with just like a bad scrape on my arm, but that's it. And I just popped back up and was like, wow, I can't believe no one else saw that. You could hear the Jackass twang in the background. It was one of my finest unwitnessed hours.
All the stuff that I did when I was younger, I'm thinking of, they're just crimes. I can't like they're just crimes. There's no way. We used to go night swimming. I guess that was something, but yeah, everything else is just like,
I'm Johnny Knoxville and this is night swimming.
my unintentional
deserves a quiet night.
My unintentional Jackass stunt, some people would just call it an accident, was going on a really steep hill on a bicycle in Vancouver on the sidewalk and it was so steep I couldn't see that there were 2 steps coming up, that I hit at full speed and flew over the handlebars and landed on my right shoulder and fractured it in 3 places. And that's how I had emergency surgery in Vancouver at 3 a.m. So
if you're gonna get it in Vancouver, buddy, where the surgery is free.
Oh, and the surgery's free. And my ER doctor was a far too handsome young doctor who seemed like he was like straight out of like a soap opera. Like he had like long flowing hair.
Hollywood North, that's why. I keep telling everybody, they're like, oh, I want to go to Hollywood when I like visit you. And I'm like, no, you want to go to the Hollywood that's in Canada. You don't want to go to the Hollywood that's here.
It was Vancouver, so he could have been on a CW series simultaneously.
Exactly. Right. Well, there you go. We'll give you more later. I'm done for now. This has been Jackass, aka SJU on Mondays. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Don't perform any of the stunts we just mentioned.